Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. This is the YouTube channel of Larbert Baptist Church. It is Wednesday the 25th of May, and you've tuned into our thought for the day. Now, I'm going to start with a rather strange statement. Some of you will know and understand what this is. Others, well, I better explain myself quickly. The statement is that I am an elf. Now, what does that mean? Well, when I became a pastor of Larbert Baptist almost 20 years ago, I was invited to a selection of forums or fraternals, if you like. And I wanted to go to some that were useful. I just didn't want to go and have a fraternal where we sat about and drank tea or coffee and just chatted about the weather. I wanted something a wee bit more productive than that. So I was a wee bit selective in where I was going, and one of the groups that I joined was the Evangelical Leaders Forum, ELF. They didn't think about the acronym too clearly when they were putting the name together. We do put an F in front of it, Falkirk Evangelical Leaders Forum. But we're known affectionately in and around the area and amongst ourselves as the Elves. And the Elves meet once a month, the last Thursday of every month. Now, this has been a very, very, very productive exercise and a productive gathering. I'm not just sure how many churches are involved, but we're all in the Larbert, Stenhousemuir, Falkirk area, and I suppose if everybody turned up on any given day, there would be somewhere between 15 and 20 churches represented, and other bodies as well, some charities, etc., can come and visit too. But as the name suggests, we're all of like mind. This is a group of evangelical church leaders, and we're very much on the same page about the things we want to do and the help that we want to do for and in the community. Now, just to remind you of the work that ELF does, a couple of us a number of years ago went to a meeting which was held in a local hotel, and it was hosted by the Trussel Trust. Now, some of you may know who the Trussel Trust are. They're the umbrella body for the food banks throughout Britain. So we went along, not knowing too much about what was actually going on, and the representative from the Trussel Trust was saying that he believed that this area, the Falkirk area, would benefit from having a food bank. But it wasn't something that any one church could do, not usually anyway. To get a food bank off the ground, to get the volunteers, to get it organised, you would need a group of churches working together, ideally. So he was saying that that's the first thing we need to do, get our heads together as church leaders and try to get some sort of a structure where we could work together and establish a food bank in the area. Well, we didn't need to get ourselves together because we already were meeting in this forum, the Evangelical Leaders Forum. So we had a ready-made church organisation raring and willing to go and do something like this. So long story short, we got a food bank established in the Falkirk area. We did it very quickly and very efficiently, even if I say so myself. And that food bank is now the second busiest food bank in all of Scotland. I believe there's a food bank in Dundee, which is a bit bigger and a bit more busy, but we are second only to Dundee, and there are lots and lots of food banks throughout the country. So that's an example of Christians coming together, uniting in a common cause, a common purpose, and doing some practical good for the community. Now, that's not all that the forum did. There was also an opportunity to establish a street pastor team in the Falkirk area. And again, this was something that needed coordination from different churches, different individuals. We had to get training, we had to get finance, we had to get a base to use, we had to get people in place to take on the responsibility, etc., etc. And again, we were already united in this leaders forum, and very soon we were able to get a street pastor team trained and onto the streets of Falkirk. And that was about 12 years ago now, and the street pastors are still going strong. They're well established in the area. They do a tremendous work on a Saturday evening, Sunday morning. And as I said, it's a patrol, or it's duty from 10 p.m. through to about 3:30 or 4 in the morning. And not every street pastor has to be out every week. There is a team, at least 3 has to be out on any given weekend, a combination of male and female just because of the nature of the work. And really we take our turns, and it's just once a month that you're required to be on call. So again, that's another example of Christian churches coming together, uniting and doing something practical and something worthwhile, and of course putting a Christian presence onto the streets when basically, usually, you would not expect a Christian presence at that time of the night and in that area. So the forum continues to look for other projects and other ways to help people, and of course promote our Christian faith. And the most recent exercise we've got ourselves involved in is coordinating some help and aid for asylum seekers. We have 60 odd asylum seekers in a hotel in Falkirk, young men from all backgrounds, mostly from Yemen and Ethiopia and the Horn of Africa, but they're in the hotel in Falkirk. They're waiting for their asylum seeker process to be accepted. It's ongoing at the moment, and until they're accepted as legitimate asylum seekers, they're basically they're not allowed to work, so they're hanging about, I suppose I could say, in and around the hotel and the Falkirk area. They're only given a few pounds a week, almost like pocket money. I think it's £8 a week, which doesn't go very far. So again, we need some coordination and some help. They are given their food, they are given their accommodation, but that's it. As far as clothing, as far as any expenses they have, £8 a week doesn't go very far. So again, we've managed to coordinate a relief, an aid package with the churches in the areas involved, and the aid being taken down to the hotel in an organised manner. So again, it's just an example of showing our Christian love and concern in a very practical way, and of course getting to alongside all these people, whether it's through the food bank, through the meeting with the asylum seekers, through speaking to people as street pastors. We are helping everybody practically, but likewise we can help them spiritually as well, because it doesn't matter what we're involved in, we carry our witness and our testimony with us, and people are only too glad to understand a little bit more about us, who we are and why we're doing what we're doing, why we're volunteering to do all these things. And again, it's a tremendous opening just to tell them that as Christians we believe this is what we should be doing, and we share our faith with them on an ongoing basis, and they see that faith being demonstrated in the things that are going on and the people that are meeting through all these organisations. Now, I'm just giving you an overview of the work, and I'm always encouraging people, if you want to start to serve the Lord in some way. The wonderful and the best place to begin is in your local church. Get yourself attached and involved in your local church. It's in a situation like that that you'll find out what your gifts are. You'll find out what you like to do, what you don't like to do. You'll find out what you have a passion for. You'll find out how you can make yourself useful. And it's wonderful when people come to the local church, because there's always plenty to be done. And we're always looking for volunteers and helpers and people to lead and people to have new ideas and help out in all sorts of ways. As I said, the church is a body, and a body has all different parts, and each part has its own place to play, and everybody comes together to create the work and the service in their local church. Now, that's wonderful, but a lot of people also, when they start and get grounded in serving the Lord in their local church, well, who knows where that will lead to. It can lead to the mission field, it can lead to the other side of the world, it can mean all sorts of wonderful opportunities and all sorts of wonderful places. So usually when you start in the local church, you get opportunities to work elsewhere or in a wider field. Now, you don't have to go to the other end of the world, but can you see what I've been trying to describe to you in this little talk? You know, the people in local churches, when they come together, when they organise themselves, when they band together, they are even more effective in their work and their service for the Lord. So start with your local church. If you're already there, look for opportunities elsewhere, because you're probably in an area where you too can play your part in all sorts of different ways, whether it's through the food bank, whether it's through street pastors, whether it's through helping asylum seekers, whether it's coordinating aid for Ukraine. There are loads and loads of opportunities, loads and loads of needs, and Christians can be of tremendous benefit. I don't think the people in the government or the local councils or the general public, I don't think they fully appreciate and grasp just how much service the local churches are doing for their communities. So I know an awful lot of you are probably already involved, and thank you for that. Thank you for your service. But if you're listening to this and you think you could be doing a little bit more, or you think you could use your gifts and your talents in some way that isn't being activated just at the moment, will you please pray about it? Will you please mention it to somebody in your local church? If you're local to Larbert Baptist Church, come along and have a chat with me, and I can assure you there's plenty to be done, and we'll find a little niche for you, and hopefully it'll suit you down to the ground. You'll be enthusiastic and you'll be doing something practical. You'll be outworking your Christian faith in a very practical way, working out your own salvation, as it were, proving that you are truly a follower of the Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, I've covered a lot of ground there. Hope you've taken it in. Please give serious thought to what I've said, and if you are already involved and you're involved up to here and you don't feel as if you can do any more, well, remember just to pray for organisations like ELF, the Evangelical Leaders Forum. Pray for branches of that work, whether it's the food bank or street pastors or asylum seekers or aid to Ukraine. Just pray for the work, because everybody can play their part. Thank you very much. I think I've gone on a wee bit longer than I would normally do, but thank you for listening to me. Please consider these things as you keep safe, as you pray, and I wish you once again another bye for now.